Have you ever watched the Olympics and wondered why some countries dominate the medal count every single time? Is it pure athletic talent, government investment, or just a numbers game of money and population? In our project, we asked a simple but powerful research question. How do a country's GDP and population impact the total number of Olympic medals it wins?
Hi, before diving in, here's the quick background. Economic capacity and demographic size are widely believed to drive Olympic success as wealthier nations can fund superior athletic infrastructure and larger populations offer a broader pool of talent, and analyzing these factors help explain global disparities in athletic performance. Prior studies have yielded mixed results regarding key performance indicators. While some research confirms a strong link between economic resources and medal counts, other studies suggest that health expenditure is a better predictor than GDP or that GDP has a negligible impact specifically on gold medal outcomes. Focusing on the period from 1960 to 2020, this project predicts that nations with higher GDP per capita and larger populations will consistently achieve higher medal counts, with this correlation strengthening over time due to the increasing organization and cost of competitive sports. Before moving on, it is important to note that to protect privacy, we removed specific athlete details from our dataset and focused strictly on country-level statistics like GDP and medal counts. We are transparent about the fact that some historical economic data might be biased due to country self-reporting. Finally, our model avoids unfair discrimination by sticking in basic economic factors, and we have fully documented our code to ensure our work is trustworthy and reproducible. Let's start with population. Intuitively, you think more people means more athletes to choose from. And that's kind of true, but only up to a point, as you can see here in this bar graph. Let's take a closer look. In this scatter plot, there's a clear upward trend, but some scatter seems to be present. You can see that mid-sized countries cluster while some big countries underperform. An example of one of those countries can be India, which has a high population but low medal count in the Olympics. Also, as you can see in this line graph, population is a weak predictor of medal count over time and only slightly rises in more recent years. So, population alone can't explain everything. It's part of the story, but not the main factor.
Now, let's talk GDP, basically how rich a country is. Here, the pattern gets much clearer. We found a stronger positive relationship between GDP and medal counts. Wealthier countries tend to have better sports infrastructure, better coaching, better nutrition, and more funding for Olympic programs. It's easier to produce elite athletes when your country has resources. But again, money isn't everything. A high GDP helps, but some wealthy countries still don't crack the top of the medal table. And some less wealthy countries consistently outperform expectations thanks to focused investments or strong sports culture. So the real question is, what happens when you look at GDP and population together? When we combine them, the story sharpened. High population plus high GDP equals medal superpowers. Think the US and China. But low population and high GDP equals specific targeted excellence. Think the Netherlands or Australia. Whereas conversely, high population and low GDP, you have underperformance relative to its size. But if you have low population and low GDP, on average, you're going to have much fewer medals, but you do have some inspiring exceptions.
We built a linear model that tests how much each variable predicts medal counts. As you can see, GDP per capita, population, and being a host country are all significant predictors of medal count. A residual plot of the linear regression model shows that the residuals do not scatter randomly around zero and show a downward trend. This implies that the linear regression model might not be the best suited for predicting Olympic medal counts. These are the results of a negative binomial regression model. GDP per capita, population, and being a host are still strong predictors of medal count. This plot shows how well the negative binomial model's predictions align with actual medal counts. Compared to the linear regression model, the negative binomial model has a better fit, as can be seen with the upward trend following the diagonal line. Our analysis confirmed that higher GDP per capita and larger population sizes are strong predictors of Olympic success, though we found the relationship to be exponential rather than linear. While standard linear models fail to capture the skewed nature of medal counts, our negative binomial regression provided a significantly better fit, accurately modeling the performance of dominant nations and the clear advantage of hosting the games. However, our study faced limitations by aggregating summer and winter games and relying on general economic metrics that do not account for structural changes in the Olympic Games over the period of 60 years. Ultimately, while wealth and population provide a foundation, future research should move beyond broad economic indicators to examine specific government spending on sports infrastructure to understand why some nations vastly outperform their economic predictions.
So the next time you watch the Olympics, you'll know those medal counts represent far more than who ran the fastest, who swam the fastest, who was the most accurate shot. They represent the wealth, the priorities, and the people of countries all across the world.
Thanks for watching, and may the odds, GDP, and population be ever in your favor.